Hi and welcome to What's Not to Like, and as promised we're going to show you the Romans 2-player with these mechanics that have now substantially changed since we last showed them. Much improved and really exciting to play. First thing we do, turn over the first building. It is a Castra Praetoria and we have a blocking marker, and that is going to go on to this benefit, and you will not be able to use that benefit throughout the game. Next thing we do, we roll 2 dice. Green dice, or 4 green shall I say, is 1, and for blue is also 1. So both these markers are going to go onto this. It's called the Glory Dial, and you'll see on Gallia is a 1. So both players are aiming to get to Gaul, conquer Gaul, in order to claim victory points. Finally, the next thing we do, we take the era card, take the black dice, roll a 6. This means that Lucius Tarquinius Superbus is not going to be available. That's in the 2-player game, 3-player game and solo game. We're going to make a choice. The first player, being green, can choose first, and he's going to choose, he's going to go for the fleet. Fleets are always good fun. And the blue player will choose the Lucius Tarquinius Priscus, because he's got a fort. So let's put those on straight away. Green places his fleet here, and blue has to place his fort in the villa for the time being, has to place that during the course of the era. Now both players get some gold, 4 for the green player, 4 more gold, and 5 more gold for the blue player. So green now is going to use his senators to make things happen, and generally at the beginning of the game we're going to need some more legions in order to attack and build our lands around Rome in order to then move forward with the game. Now you'll notice that green already has 1 legion here. He has a garrison as well in Rome, sorry that was missing. So he's going to need a few more, and I think he's going to go to there. Now that's a 3 benefit. He places his 3 senator, and he has to place the blue cube with it. This gives him 2 free legions and up to 6 legions costing 1 each. So he's got 3, so he's going to buy another 3. That gives him 2 armies. You may remember on there that all the on the era card, all the legions have a 3 on their shields. That means the maximum size of armour they can have is 3 legions. So he's going to have 2 full-size armies to use this turn if he so chooses. Blue is going to go a slightly different strategy, just to show you some more variations in the game. He's going to take his 1 senator and place it, and he's going to place the 2 senator, the 2 senator into there, places the red cube, and now by spending 2 of his gold, change to 3, he can increase the size of his senators by up to 2. So he could turn this one into a 3, or he could turn this one into another 4 and another 2. So he's going to do that. He's going to have a 4 and a 2 value senator. That's a sort of long-term strategy to get yourself in a more strong position to make play later in the game. It's kind of at this time in the game, of course he's lost the use of the senator, but I think it's worth it in the long run. Now, we're going to attack here. So green player, he's got a fleet which can be very, very useful. Remember, he's got to get to Gaul, so he's going to place his 3 army into there with his general. Now, did you see that? I flipped over the 4 senator, becomes a very strong +3 general, and he's going to attack into Etruria here with those armies in a minute. Blue, meanwhile, needs to recruit, and unfortunately, much as though it was a smart move in some ways, he's got to use that 4 senator now to go in there, because he can't go into the blocking one and he doesn't really get much benefit for there. So he does get 3 free legions for that, and he can buy another, he could buy up to 7. Does he want to buy a lot of legions? I think he probably doesn't. No, let's keep the gold there. Let's keep the gold. That might be useful. Alright, so green is attacking. Notice we didn't attack Nobody attacks until all the senators have been placed. If they become generals, that's fine. Now we flip this over. This is a native force. I'll just show you this one. You see it's got an enemy soldier, he's worth 1. A city is worth 1, and a fort is worth 1. So the defence for the enemy is going to be 3, which we mark on this attack battle track here. And 3 general plus 3 legions makes 6. So that is a score to begin with. 6 versus 3. We're now going to roll dice. The white dice is added to the Roman score, the purple to the enemy score. Now that makes, leave the markers where they are, 8 versus 7. So that is a win for the Roman. We take this off, and you saw there was 1 gold on there, so the Roman gains 1 gold. Now you can move on, attacking to an adjacent area. So it's going to go there. 3 plus 2 makes 5, and 1 enemy. So 5 versus 1. Well, that's fairly straightforward, you think? Can be. Yes, he's got it easy enough. That goes into there. And now he makes his move on Gaul over here. That's 4 versus 1. Roll the dice. You can move the marker if we wish. That's another win. So a very successful Roman campaign. The general goes back to the barracks. If he wishes to attack again, he can. And you may remember he's going for Gaul, so the green marker is taken off here and scores 5 points. Very nice. Okay, now I'm going to do something I shouldn't really do, but I've realised that we didn't really play the blue turn terribly well there. Let's rewind it, and so put those 3 markers back, put those 3 legions back. And instead of placing this one on here, we should have placed it in the Castra Praetoria, because he gets 5 free legions there, which is a no-brainer, isn't it? So apologies for messing up, but that's the nature of the game. We've got to make some good decisions. And it's going to attack into Campania here with 5. Now, you may remember the first attack was a success, so it was a success here as well, no matter what's under there. So blue succeeded and gains 1 gold. At which point, the remainder of this army, because there's no general with it, goes straight into here. So that's the wonderful thing about the Castra Praetoria. The Praetorian Guard kind of bombard into one area and take it on, conquer it, but then they go back to the barracks. So he's now got some men there, so that's a better way of playing it. There we go. Green. Green to go again. Now green fancies taking the whole of Italy, that's his plan. So he's going to place this marker here, +1, and his 3 legions. That may make a chance. Let's take a chance. Let's use his the weak little senator. There's no benefit there. So no positives, but he's got 3 men. He's taking a bit of a chance, but you'll see why later on, hopefully. So now for blue, well, blue's going to make his bid for Gaul, I think, to get those victory points for Gaul. So he takes his general, that becomes a 3 general there. And yes, I think he needs his best general on there. He's fighting 2 with 6. And over here we've got 3 against 3 against 3. Maybe regretting this already. Let's have a see. Come on. Oh, he is. I'm afraid that's a defeat for this army. But it's a victory for this army. So 1 gold over here. And this army moves on. This army stays where it is. It's going to continue attacking. We do not adjust the battle markers. So although it was 3 versus, now there's only 2 legions there, we still keep the score at 3 versus 3. The attacker always gets the advantages. Come on! Oof. He's lost again here. That's not good. What happened over here? 5 versus 3, that's an easy win, is it? He won a 6 versus 6. The attacker always wins a tie, so he did actually win it. 1 gold over here. And now green is going to carry 1 more go. He's going to have 1 more go. And of course over here we're trying to get Gaul. So it's 4 versus 3. That's pretty tight, isn't it? 3 versus 3. No. Well, it's a win over here. 1 gold. But he's not won again here. He really wishes he'd use his other general now. That is pretty appalling, I'm afraid. That is pretty bad. He was doing so well, wasn't he? Over here, he's got goal. Take this marker off. Doesn't score 5, he scores 4 and goes on top. Alright, now he becomes the new first player because he's ahead of it. So we'll be adjusting that in a few minutes. We'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, last senator. We don't change the player order at the moment, by the way. That stays as it is, so still green going first. Well, his plan was much more ambitious than this, I'm afraid. Ooh, the danger is Rome is really quite in danger there at the moment. I think he's going to... Oh no, that's not very good. It's awful. What a dreadful position to be in. I think he's going to have to do this. He's going to have to spend 3 gold to buy a blue resource. And they can then place it on there, so he can now recruit 3 more legions, and he's going to have another go at this attack here. You're really desperate to win this one. So it's still 3 versus 3. We'll come back to that in a minute. What is blue going to do? I think blue is going to spend some money. So he's got a 2 there. You can spend, put that in there. This is where you can buy things. You can spend up to 5 gold. So he's going to buy a fort for 1, another fort for 1. He's going to place a fleet for 2 makes 4, and he's going to leave it at that. Doesn't have to spend it all. 4 gold. Try and defend Rome, and try and set himself up for next turn when things start to happen. Now let's see if he can... Come on, green. That is a tie, and the Roman wins ties. Thank goodness for that. So that comes off into the pot, gets a gold for it, and leaves them, and then because it's the Praetorian Guard, they go back into the barracks. Well, that ends the Roman bits and pieces there, so these come off and go into the supply. And then as we return our senators to the villas, we score for any... Oh, I've forgotten they got that fort there. I'll tell you what, he's going to spend the extra coin and put that fort there, get an extra coin back, and he's going to place another fleet here. I forgot they got that there. So let's put that on. So as you put your senators back into here, this is when you score for any cities you have. So he's got 1, gets 1 point. And goes on to there. And now green will score for any cities he's got 1, scores 1 point. Well, green scores it first. So that ends up like that, blue on top. Now that's important because blue is now going to become the first player. Switch those 2 round. Those 2 senators come off, and these come over here. And we've now reset all that for next turn. Before we do the era for the enemy, the reply, we roll to see if we lose any fleets. And he's got a 3, 4 on there, 5, 6. So it's a fairly good chance he's going to lose oh, he's lost a fleet. So he bought 1, but he's already lost 1. Maybe shouldn't have done it, but fleets are very, very, very useful. Okay, on to the enemy. Similar to the Roman turn, the enemy is going to roll a dice. So that one is not available. In a 2-player game, the first player can choose to give the enemy one of the enemy leaders here, enemy nations on here, or can choose one for himself. Well, I think he can't resist giving green Apulia. So 2 of those come in there, and a +1 general. It's pretty bad for green, I'm afraid. And green will choose to try and knock out Etruria on here, so he awards that, or rather the enemy will try and knock it out because it's got the resource in there. So the same thing again, we're going to roll the dice for these attacks. We'll set that up in a minute, but this one, because it's a native fort, it just simply moves straight on towards Rome. It actually goes towards the nearest city. In this case it is Rome. Let's put the attack together. 1 for the Roman only, 3 for the enemy there. That's not good, is it? Here it's 1 for the enemy versus 2 for the Roman because of the fort. Roll the dice! Oof. That smashes both of them. So that one comes off, fort comes off. That's the end of the enemy attack there. Over here, the enemy comes off. So the Roman comes off. The enemy march on towards Rome. Oh goodness me. Fortunately, Rome is defended by 3, and the enemy's only got 2 now. Let's see how that attack goes. Flipping heck. Come on. Oh dear. That's 6 for the enemy, 6 for Rome. That, I'm afraid, is the fall of Rome. Tie is the enemy. The attacker wins, remember. All those come off. The enemy gets into the air, the general comes off. Now immediately Rome falls. It's not the end of the game, not the end of the world, I'm afraid, but it is a big setback. This is a particular rule in the game. As soon as that happens at this point in the game, we remove that army and replace it with 1 legion, but the cost for Roman is 5 victory points, so green is going to go back to 2 on there. So not the end of the world, but not good. To replace these ones, we've got to place a new native force, so that one has been drawn from the pot. Replace that one. And over here, drawn from the pot. Notice this is a green one, it doesn't matter, we mix it up. And onto there. That concludes Era 1.